There's one thing I have been experiencing, observing, and hearing from all these years, me getting into this line of working with people into as a teacher, as an inspiration to everybody, as an inspiration to everybody. Um, I had a colleague of mine, and he always say, so whenever there will be somebody in the classroom, they will get inspired by the classroom and they will drop a bad habit, smoking or drinking or non-veg or drugs or weed, whatever bad habit they're into, they will drop that bad habit and will come in the class and share about, oh, I was smoking for last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, and last session you spoke something hit me so hard, I have dropped smoking, or I have dropped drinking, or I have dropped non-veg, or I dropped drugs, I dropped weeds, or some bad habit. They'll say I had a habit of womanizing and I used to go all the time now and then, and now I have dropped it from the time you told me all these things. And this colleague of mine always tell me next day morning, everybody clapped so much for these people who have dropped a bad habit. They will clap, they celebrate, they will say, yeah, oh, great job, they will hug him tight. So many compliments that fellow will get because he dropped a bad habit. And he'll tell me, Deepak, for last 34 years, I did not have a single bad habit. I never had a bad habit. I never smoked, I never drank, I never had any kind of, I never indulged in any kind of bad things in my life. And I never got any kind of compliment in my life from anybody. Is this fair? And at that time, I could relate with him, I could empathize with him, but I had my thoughts. I didn't want to say that time to him, that moment, but I had this thought. And I want to share that today with all of you. Now, so many of them, maybe so many of you right now also who are live in here with me must be having some bad habits. Smoking, drinking, non-veg. No, I'm not debating here, okay? We're not debating here. So those few of you have, it's okay. I'm not debating. You continue what you want to continue. I'll continue my talk with all of you. So I'm not debating. I'm trying to make you understand something from a larger perspective. So don't come to too early conclusions about what we were discussing in this night tonight. So a lot of people have this, and I have seen this. And to see them behaving crazy, doing even right now, especially in the Corona times when everything is closed down, people are, especially these people who have bad habit of smoking or drinking. These people are like going and burglary is happening. They are getting into the breaking into those liquor shops and pawn shops, taking cigarettes, taking drinks, liquor, and all these things is happening. You all must be hearing about it. My question is not that. My question to all of you tonight is this. These all are, I call it as visible weaknesses. That those bad habits you talk about, smoking, drinking, those of you think non-veg is a bad habit, those of you are very pure vegetarians, you come from typical culture, religion, faith, whatever you come back from, you think non-veg means yeah, they're bad people, and all those things are there. But I think they are very visible weaknesses of people. But I want to speak about, there are a lot of people, including me, we have a lot of invisible weaknesses. Have you ever thought about it? Why is it that we have never given too much demand for that or too much attention to that? It's okay to live with invisible weakness just because they're not visible to anybody. Is it okay? It's absolutely okay. Just because they're not visible to anybody, it's okay. Just that. So, for example, if I've seen a lot of trainers do that, they have a smoke in the hand and they teach cigar, and they will teach, and the people will make comment. What kind of a trainer is he? He smokes and teaches. Or somebody must be having a glass of liquor. Suppose they come from a culture like a European or some culture where they can, it's okay, it's very normal to drink with parents and family. And they teach with this. And people look down on them. Just because somebody smokes, you look down on them. Is it okay? Just because somebody has liquor in his hand, is it okay to look down on them? I'm not saying liquor is okay. I'm not saying smoking is okay. And my question is it okay for you because you don't have smoking or drinking or non-veg or weed or drug habits, just because you don't have a visible weakness, is it fair to look down on people who have these weaknesses? I've seen people, I've witnessed it. Smoke, huh? You drink, huh? Non-veg you eat, chicken, mutton, animals you eat. They look down. They make faces also. The geography, the whole face changes the moment they see people with all these things. Is it fair? Because their weakness is very visible and they're doing it. And there are so many of us who have invisible weakness. And that invisible weakness is our biggest enemy, which is invisible. And just because we are not able to, you tell me, see, again, let me repeat this 100 times. I don't want you to make conclusion because I say, and I'm not even giving you this license or a freedom to do something which I'm going to speak. Somebody is smoker, but is very genuine at heart. And there is somebody whose intentions are very dirty, very bad, but he does not have smoking habit, drinking habit, non-veg, drugs, nothing. It is very clean as per you, but his intentions are dangerous. Tell me, person with a smoke in his hand, that does not mean you should smoke. I'm giving you example to make you understand. But don't take this much part from the YouTube or Instagram and then say, this person they told this much is okay. You tell me, a smoker with genuine heart and a non-smoker, completely teetotaler with a very dirty intention, dangerous intention, who's more dangerous? But no, we will not look at that. Because we come from a market, no, जो दिखता है वही बिकता है. Whose weaknesses are visible, who has a visible bad habit. For us, they are bad people, or we can look down on them. If intentions are bad, intentions are dirty, intentions are manipulative, intentions are to cheat, intention is to loot, intention is to molest, intention is to harm, how will you come to? And they behave very nice in front of you, very good in front of you. Is that not a very invisible weakness of somebody, or is it not a very invisible enemy which we don't know how to deal with tomorrow? I have seen personally when I do counseling that time, my husband drinks so much, just can't stand him. I said, you have so much hatred towards your husband because of his visible weakness. You have this invisible weakness called hatred, and you are hating your husband for 99 things about your husband is good. You only say that. Only one thing about your husband is bad, which is a visible weakness of him, and he does it in front of you. For that, you're looking down on him and you hate him so much for that. Your hatred is n times hurting you and the person than is drinking hurting him or harming him, not even hurting, harming him. So you have hatred filled into you. Is it not an invisible bad habit of yours? Is it not your invisible weakness? That you have a heart which can hate the person with whom you live. He is not drinking to hurt you. He is not drinking because he hates you. He is not drinking because he wants to do something bad to you. He is drinking because he is addicted. For whatever reason, that is not genuine. Okay, there is no reason to you get anybody to get addicted to any kind of bad habit. It's not a genuine reason. Nothing is reasonable. I don't believe in this. I don't believe when somebody says I started drinking because of tension. How? By drinking, tension will go on. By smoking, tension will go. Right? Really? It's like taking temporary anesthesia. You have gone into your zone. You forget. Eyes close. By closing the eyes to the problem doesn't disappear. You for momentary time you are out of it, and when you open the house, problem is staring at you only. It does not go. So I'm not anywhere advocating or saying that it is okay to. I'm just trying to make you understand those of them who have visible weaknesses. I'm not saying they're right, but I'm also saying at the same time those people who have invisible weaknesses, just because they are not seen, you don't mind living with them, praising them, appreciating them, loving them, caring for them, not looking down on them, because you just because you don't. I'm sitting this side of the screen, you're sitting on that side of the screen. I'm visible to all of you, none of you are visible to me. Now, you are able to see my action, but none of you there don't know my intention. What is my intention behind this? How do you know? Just because I don't have anything visible weakness in front of you, that does not mean I don't have a weakness, or does not mean that I don't have a flaw. And just because there's somebody in your house, or in your family, or in your friend circle, must be having a visible weaknesses. And I've seen people comparing, but he doesn't smoke, doesn't drink like you. But suppose I have a wrong intention in my mind. I hold wrong feelings towards people. But right now, because it is there, for 1 hour to act in front of you, nice, nice, big deal. Jealousy. Is it not an invisible enemy of yours? Hatred, anger, so much anger. And your anger comes from whom? People who love the maximum. People who mean a lot to you. Whom you love like crazy. Or they love you crazy. Those are the people on whom your anger comes. क्यों होता है स्वभाव में है नेचर में है your anger is valid but their bad habit is not valid. I am not again telling you that is right. I'm just trying to make you understand a part of our life which we have very conveniently concealed it. Just because saying is a human nature. Boss, smoking, drinking, drugs, weeds, they are visible weakness in an action domain. उनके एक्शन में गलती है. But invisible weaknesses are there in the thought domain, feeling domain. वो आपके जहन में है, वो अंदर है. It's a part of you. Those visible weaknesses are outside. And invisible weaknesses are inside. Nobody knows it. Just because nobody knows it does not mean you don't have it. And that is where here I think you and me, all of us have to be very, very honest to ourselves and say, yeah, I also have anger. I also have jealousy. I also have hatred. I also have perversion. I also have lust. I also have possessiveness. These are my invisible weaknesses. We should be honest to ourselves, whichever is that whole thing. Just because nobody can see it so conveniently, we cover it up and show everybody a face that, yeah, I don't smoke, I don't drink. In fact, when they have this alliance for marriage alliance, they judge the man or the boy like this only. So कोई बुरी आदत नहीं है उसको. He doesn't have a bad habit really. How do you know? How do you know? He's not a jealous ass. How do you know? He's not possessive. How do you know? He has anger. How do you know? He has a lot of grudge against women. How do you know? He's a pervert. How do you know? How do you know? Just because you have never seen him smoking, drinking, drugs, weeds, or with flirting out with other opposite sex. Just because of that, the person is branded as a good person. And on that you decide, yeah, ये आदमी ये लड़का अच्छा है, शादी करवा दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. This girl also does not have any bad habit, करवा दो. That's it. And that is why we have so many difficult relationships. That is why we have such a difficult family lives. That is why we have such a miserable married lives. Are you aware of your invisible weaknesses? The word will never come to know. What's my intention towards any one of you? How will you come to know till I put it into action? How I feel towards you, how will you come to know? I have witnessed it. You have witnessed it. How many of us in the moments of jealousy have disturbed and destroyed so many people's peace? But listen, again, I'm not advocating for smoking drink. I'm just clarifying to you something from a different perspective altogether. That man smoking or drinking or drugs or weed or any bad habit, visible bad habit or visible weakness will only harm him personally, will only harm him. And not every smoker commits suicide, not every drunkard commits suicide. Not every drug addict commits suicide. Not every drug addict will die like that. Okay. But I've seen people dying out of jealousy every moment, every day for lifetime. I've seen it. I have seen people suffering from possessiveness. I have seen people suffering of, and problem here is smoking, drinking, weed, drugs. That person will be harmed by himself or herself for that much time, or for their body, for their life. But your possessiveness, your anger, your jealousy, your hatred, it will destroy others, plural. It will destroy others because that invisible weakness of yours of jealousy or hatred or possessiveness, it made you do so many things in a concealed environment of life, and you destroyed so many relationships, you destroyed so many people, their peace, their life, their relationship, their families, their businesses, so much. One invisible enemy of yours will not only destroy yourself, it will also destroy many more people's life, and you will never know how when the count will stop. Because this feeling, if you don't work, a very strange world we have built. For smoking, drinking, drugs, weed, for all these things we have de-addiction centers. We have de-addiction center. इसको बहुत लत लगी हुई एडिक्शन लगा हुआ है आदत लगी लत लगी हुई है इसको भर्ती कर दो send him to a home rehabilitation center में भेज दो they will de-addict him and send it back here. And what about your addictions towards all invisible weaknesses which we all have in our lives? There is no de-addiction center because nobody want to go and say. Very fair, right? You don't have right, or none of us have a right to look down on people who have visible weaknesses. When we all know honestly, being very ruthlessly honestly, we know ourselves. We all have a lot of invisible weaknesses, and in those invisible weaknesses, we have really disturbed and destroyed so many people's lives. Their bad habit has destroyed their life. Maybe their one family member, maybe that is the ratio is very small. What about stress? Stress taking abilities few of you have. There are people I know who are stressed because they don't have stress. Everybody is in stress. No stress in me. I'm so stressed about it. Hmm? Is it not a very invisible enemy? And when you are stressed up, do you stay with yourself? You disturb few more lives in your family or in your office or in your culture, wherever you are. Hmm? Smoking, drinking, drugs, if and they've destroyed their personal lives. So many of their invisible weakness called gossip, their ability to gossip or that, what do you say, that longing, the craving to gossip about people have destroyed families, broken relationships, destroyed countries, destroyed organizations of massive scales just because of gossip, invisible enemy. What about that? Who's going to address that? Just because it is not visible, we are just okay with it. I can count. I have line of invisible enemies. Yeah, one of you may not be a very angry person in life. हो सकता है. Hmm? Intention. All of you have gone through. And problem with intention is you don't know. We have seen no history. History has revealed that people within the own house, within the own fort, within the own armies, they were there with the intention of selfishness to grab the throne of your own brother, of your own father. Concealed intention. So dangerous, no? To have concealed intention. The people walked into organizations to destroy the organization. See, I'm not talking about a spy. A spy is go with a concealed intention only. But the concealed intention is not to destroy that country, but to ensure that their country is not been destroyed by this country. So those people spy are in our country, and our country spies will be in other countries for the benefit of their personal countries, not to destroy any other country. Don't somewhere anywhere mistake the whole thing. They're different breed of people. What kind of patriotism these spies have? To go into another country, stand in the assembly and raise salute to their country's flag and think about your country. Look at what level of emotional maturity they would have been trained into, what levels of patriotism it will be that you have to salute to some other country's flag and remain loyal to your country. That's called patriotism. That's called next level of emotional maturity you need to reach. They also have concealed intentions. But here are so many people living in our own world, our own families, our own offices, in our own organizations with concealed intention, such an invisible enemy. And you should be aware of it. You should be aware of it that do you have somebody like them or that in your circle? One, two. You should not be the one. You should not be the one. Whenever I get cheated, which I get, all after all my smartness, I get cheated. Nicely, I get cheated. When I get betrayed, when I get hurt, when I get robbed, what the first thought from my mind is, thank God, I got cheated, but I was not a cheat. I didn't cheat. I still prefer to get cheated in life. I don't want to say that, but just to make you understand, I don't mind to get cheated in life than to be a cheat in life. I don't mind getting robbed in life than to be a robber in life. Those of you simply come to watch what I'm going to talk about. I'm not talking to you. For those of you relate with me, I really do. I really want. You should not be the one who has concealed intentions. And if you have some intention, clarify. No, what big deal? To talk to your own boss, talk to your own colleague, to talk to your own best friend, to talk to your own family member that I expect this. I have this intention. What to do? Be honest about it. What's wrong about it? है तो है यार अभी ऐसा ऐसा सोच आ गया है इरादा आ गया है इरादा गंदा हो गया है खोट आ गई है मन में तो आ गई है नियत में आ गई तो बोल सकते हैं I'm not saying because of that they will give it to you, but at least you should be open. Otherwise, what is the point of relationships only in life? It's such a painful thing to know that you live in that family, you work in that office, you work in that organization, and they take care of you, and then you or me, we go and talk about that person or that company or that family or that organization or a relationship to somebody else in a wrong taste. Is it not a very invisible enemy of yours? First, are you even aware of it? It's an enemy. And this enemy of yours is not only destroying you. In fact, it's not destroying you. Your invisible enemy called jealousy or gossip. It's not killing you more. It's killing us. Anger. It kills us also, others also. Jealousy kills us also, others also. Hatred kills us also, others also. Possessiveness kills us also, others also. The Buddha said, don't punish the man who's angry, because anger is already punishing him. And he said, anger is something like you holding hot burning charcoal in your hand and trying to throw at somebody. Before it burns somebody, it's already burning you. So don't punish who's angry. Anger is already punishing the person. But we have that invisible enemy of us. I want you to be aware of it. And those of you very honestly think, yes, I think I have not one invisible enemy, but I have more than an invisible weakness or who has a visible bad habit. just because the world says smoking is bad, drinking is bad, drugs are bad, and this are bad, and that is bad, whatever they have made conclusions about it. Just because we have not yet branded invisible weaknesses does not give you and me a license or freedom to look down on people. The way you want to empathize with yourself, saying or sympathize with yourself, saying that ठीक है ना अभी मेरे में है तो मैं क्या कर सकता similar, but I still feel, I still say that the invisible enemy, our invisible weakness, is much more harmful to ourselves and not others. And this will continue till the end of our life if we don't choose to work upon our own self. That is why I told in one of the last session, the greatest victory is on victory on yourself. Jihad is basically conquering yourself. What? Those enemies, those demons what we have in ourselves, which we are aware of, which we know. And we should be very honest about training and being with people. They should be so sarcastic. Means if you are sitting in front of me, just because I don't know, people always in my culture, in my world, my circle of people, they always liked me, so they always to be with me. But I used to be so sarcastic in my town. Even today, those few of you very close to me, you know, now and then that sarcastic humor will come. But I used to be filled with so much sarcasm. I used to hurt on pulling everybody's leg. See, pulling leg is no problem. It's fun. It's fun. So just, but they are so sarcastic and they hurt. Now, so many people in sarcasm have hurt so many people in life. Remember an incident in one of my friend's life, traveling by bus, and she wanted ticket at the next stop, and conductor was quite far ahead, and next stop was her bus stop, her stop. So she told some few girls were sitting in front of her, 3 4 benches rows ahead, and she told, "Can you get me a ticket for that?" And they did not respond. 3 4 times she shouted, then they ultimately shouted again, "Behre ho kya? Are you deaf or what?" And by the time conductor came, she took the ticket and went. It so happened that those girls, along with the teacher, got at the same bus stop where this girl also, this friend of mine also got down. As she got down, the teacher stopped this girl, a friend of mine, and said, "Yes, you are right. They are deaf, so they could not respond to you. That is not their mistake. But you should be a little more sensitive towards people when you talk something like this." And this friend of mine was so embarrassed, so awkward. She felt so bad. She felt so sorry. And then she said, "That day I realized the lesson I learned from this incident." She spoke in her speech. I cannot have rapture in my heart by rupturing somebody's heart. By crushing somebody's heart, you can't have joy. That is called sadism. You and me can't be sadist. And come on, that's again and one more invisible weakness. People get sadistic pleasures by putting somebody down, cracking jokes on them. अरे हिम्मत है तो खुद पे जोक मारना यार. Talk about your baldness, no. Talk about your weight, no. Talk about your complexion, no. Talk about your nose, no. Talk about your lips, no. Talk about your body, no. Talk about your weakness, no. Make fun of yourself. It needs courage, no. It's so easy to laugh at somebody's expense. Invisible weakness. You know how many people we would have hurt in our sarcasm to draw some sadistic pleasures. And we're just okay with it. That's the most painful thing I've experienced. You're okay with it. मेरा nature है. Really. Invisible weaknesses. And these are the invisible enemies which destroys the world more than this coronavirus. In fact, if you really have to take a call, you know what? Research shows in India, maximum murders happens because of love, then because of depressions, and then because of failures. Later, first maximum killings, murders happens for love, in the name of love. Either it's honor killing, or it is the other person could not take care of the other person's feelings, or possessive, or they were dumped, or they were dished, or they were kuch bhi, betrayed, jo bhi hai. Maximum murders and killings happens in the name of love in this country. Must be all over the world. Human nature is same everywhere, not only and especially in India. invisible enemy. It kills, destroys more number of people than the visible. If you have to ever sit and anybody can be honestly creating this data, we'll know that smoking, drinking, drugs, people die because of that. And because of the invisible weaknesses which I measured to you, which I counted to all of you, if you make a data of all these things, boss, it will be n times more than the visible enemy, the visible weakness. Both are killing only. Both are destroying. This visible weakness, visible enemy kills or destroys the one. This invisible enemy kills many, many times for many years. And they're okay with it. And that's the most painful part of it. They're okay with it. People live with jealousy and die with jealousy. People live with possessiveness and die with possessiveness. People live with anger and die with anger. People live with stress and die with stress. People live with gossip habits and they die with gossip habits. People live with sarcastic nature and die with sarcastic nature. And in the process, they would have killed and hurt so many lives when they were alive. And we are just so okay about it. If you are tonight honest to yourself with me, or you're honest to yourself with your God, people come close to you. And when you're honest with yourself, God comes close to you. Tonight, be honest with yourself. Witness of your God, and tell yourself, I have this invisible weakness, and I'll work upon it. I'll work upon it. How to work upon it? I don't have time to explain how to work upon it. I'll give you just two things to do it. Before that, I have something for you. I think we should work upon it. And we can work. And we should means there is no. If addictions of year can be dropped, then don't tell me wrong emotion, dirty emotion, bad emotions can't be dropped. I don't agree with it. If years, when you go and meet a drug addict who has overcome drugs, go and meet a smoker. Go, and I know so many of them. Personally, I have worked with so many of them. I know it personally. I've been with them. It's not easy. For them, it's life and death. You should see when people stop smoking. I have witnessed it. You should see when people try to fight drugs. That blood demands it. It kills them. It kills them. Drugs dropped it. I have seen. I think they have dropped it. Struggled for next 10, 15 days. That's it. Kuttai. Not more than that. And they came out of it. If addictions of that gravity can be dropped like that, don't tell me any invisible emotion like your possessiveness or jealousy or this gossip or something. You can drop. It's a decision. आज के बाद में I will not gossip. It's a decision. Your decision away from emotional enlightenment. It's a decision. आज के बाद में no jealousy. I'll grow. I'll grow so big. I'll grow so nicely. I'll feel so loved about myself that I should feel I am the most beautiful human being. I am the best. When you know I am the best, you will never have jealousy in life. And people will envy you. You will not feel jealous. Only when you feel low, you feel lesser, you feel मैं कुछ नहीं है, you feel pity, you feel power, then only all these emotions come to you. Grow, no? Outgrow yourself. Produce tremendous results, phenomenal results. Outperform every time. Grow beyond people's expectation. Grow beyond your expectations. Then I'm telling you, all this possessiveness, everybody else will become possessive about you, jealous about you, envious about you. They might hate you also. You will outgrow it. What a beautiful feeling to be liberated from these emotions. To know that you're just free. Just to know that you don't know what is called jealousy. Irsha, nafrat, kya hoti mujhe मालूम ही नहीं है. So bitch, come on, what a word to use, bitch. So much bitching. Just to know that I never speak bad about anybody in life. I only speak good about everybody whom I know about it. I'm feeling to be liberated, to say that I'm free from all these dirty emotions. No perversion, no lust, no anger. I'm free from this. What a feeling it is. A decision. क्या हो गया? टाइम लगता है ना. स्मोकिंग छोड़ने को भी टाइम लगता है, ड्रिंकिंग को भी टाइम छोड़ने को टाइम लगता है, ड्रग को भी टाइम लगता है. 7, 10, 12 days का बात है यार. And we discussed when the beginning of the first lockdown happened. 21 days, if you do something, it will become a habit. Change, no, same thing. What's not possible? Drop it. If drugs de-addiction can happen, smoking de-addiction can happen, alcohol de-addiction can happen, then I think all this invisible weaknesses of jealousy, hatred, fear, and stress, and gossip, and sadism, whatever you call it, sarcastic nature, this also can be dropped. Like takes time, but drop for some time. What's not possible?